Conflict and Compromise in Founding Brothers. How Tension Forged the United States. Introduction. The story of America. As founding isn't just one of unity and shared ideals, it is a narrative defined by sharp disagreements, clashing visions, and the difficult, often messy work of compromise. In Founding Brothers. The revolutionary generation, Joseph J. Ellis masterfully brings to life the conflicts that threatened to tear the fledgling nation apart, and the acts of negotiation that, time and again, stitched it back together. The tension between Federalists and Anti-Federalists, and debates over central versus local power, created a political landscape fraught with division. Yet, it was this very tension and the willingness to compromise that helped the United States survive its tumultuous early years. 1. Dueling visions. Federalists versus Anti-Federalists. At the heart of the early Republic's conflicts was a fundamental question. What kind of nation should America be? Federalists, led by Alexander Hamilton and John Adams, believed in a strong central government. They argued that only a robust federal authority could unify the states, ensure economic stability, manage debts, and protect the fledgling nation from internal and external threats. Anti-Federalists, or Democratic Republicans, led by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, feared that too much centralized power would threaten liberty and replicate the tyranny they had fought against in the Revolution. They advocated for states' rights, local autonomy, and a more agrarian vision of America. This clash wasn't just philosophical, it was deeply personal, shaping relationships, alliances, and enmities among the founding generation, as Ellis vividly illustrates. 2. The Art of Compromise. Key episodes. Ellis reveals that the very survival of the American experiment depended on the founders' ability, sometimes reluctant, sometimes ingenious, to reach across political divides and find common ground. A. The Compromise of 1790. Dinner table diplomacy. One of the most famous compromises Ellis describes is the dinner table bargain of 1790. The issue? Whether the federal government should assume state debts from the Revolutionary War. Southern states, having paid off much of their debt, opposed assumption, while northern states supported it. The players, Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison. The deal. Over a private dinner at Jefferson's home, they struck a bargain. Madison would not block Hamilton's financial plan, and in return, the nation's capital would move to the Potomac, pleasing the southern states. This episode encapsulates the spirit of pragmatic negotiation that allowed the government to function. B. The Bill of Rights, assuaging fears. Anti-Federalists demanded explicit guarantees for individual liberties. Federalists, seeking ratification of the Constitution, agreed to add a Bill of Rights. This compromise reassured skeptics and helped secure the Constitution's acceptance. C. The Silence on Slavery. Perhaps the most fateful compromise was the founders' decision to avoid directly confronting slavery. Ellis describes how, for the sake of union, the founders agreed to a tacit silence on the issue, postponing a conflict that would eventually erupt in the Civil War. This compromise, while politically expedient, had deep and lasting moral consequences. 3. The fragility of the new republic. What emerges from Ellis's account is a sense of just how fragile the early republic was. The founding generation was acutely aware that their experiment in self-government could easily fail. No guarantees. The Constitution was a series of compromises, not a perfect document. Its authors understood that only through ongoing negotiation could the nation endure. Personal risk. The founders put their reputations, fortunes, and sometimes their lives on the line, often in the face of fierce opposition from their peers and the public. 4. Lessons in Leadership and Democracy. Ellis's exploration of conflict and compromise offers valuable insights for today. Conflict is inevitable. Disagreement is a natural part of democracy. Compromise is essential. Progress often depends on finding solutions that neither side considers perfect, but both can accept. The balance of power. The founders' debates about federal versus state power remain relevant, reminding us that American democracy is a constant balancing act. 5. Conclusion. The legacy of tension and agreement. the founding generation's willingness to wrestle with rather than run from their differences was central to the success of the American experiment. Ellis's Founding Brothers reminds us that the United States was born not from uniformity, but from diversity of thought, and that the nation's greatest strength often lies in its ability to find common ground amid conflict. Closing thought. As we navigate our own era of political division, the story of the founders' conflicts and compromises is both a caution and an inspiration. Democracy is hard, messy, and imperfect, but when shaped by the courage to negotiate and the humility to compromise, it can endure and thrive.